Hello and welcome to the stream. I'm Mikata and this is my face and this is my attempt to have a webcam. Now, as you've read, it is time to start another playthrough using only vendor items in Diablo 4. Just a very quick recap about the first attempt that I did. There I chose a rogue and my run ended just in the beginning of Act 2. So for the second attempt, I chose to play safe and picked the Necromancer, who is really strong in Season 4. In the very early beginning, I had some hiccups around my desire to play Soul Cell Found. Oh, I have forgotten that I had gold. How can I get rid of my gold? Not cool, and I have obols as well. So I had to buy and sell some stuff just to run out of the gold I had acquired previously. I had really hoped that there are some optional campaign quests and I can just skip some parts. Basically the Black Lake, where I had been even with my rogue and with all the previous runs that I've starting from the beta last year. But this turned out to not be the case. I'll get to that in a minute. So I ran to Act 2 and tried to find Donan. And it turned out that I'm a little bit under-leveled, so I had to farm a bit to gain some levels. So I'm on par with the area levels in the game in Act 2. Event 35 obols. Good enough. One thing that I tried was clear Black Asylum dungeon, which gives me the aspect of torment. And the aspect of torment helps my bone skills and improves the essence regeneration with my bone skills. But when I cleared the dungeon, I figured that I had no material to craft this item, and so in the end I was left with the darkness, spells, reap and savor. This was a good change from my previous Necromancer run, where I indeed used the bone skills and had never used these shadow skills. And now let's get back to the quest progression. So as I had left the Black Lake alone, hoping that I don't have to go and complete that part of the campaign, I got to the last fight, and when I defeated Elias the first time, the game left me with no other option but to go and complete the Black Lake part of the campaign. At that point I was almost level 35, or I was level 35. In the Black Lake there were areas that were like 5 levels below me. I fought with monsters that were level 30, which made the Black Lake part of the campaign really quick. I had no problems. That was the overall theme of the Necromancer run. So I've already mentioned that the Necromancer is really strong in Season 4. The big difference between the Rogue and the Necromancer was that with the Rogue I had to fight for every piece of land, every quest, every monster, every area, where with the Necromancer that was just not the case. My Necromancer and my minions were just mowing through all the monsters, and I was able to progress really quickly and had zero problems with the campaign. There was one challenging and one interesting point that was just before the end of the game. I was on the edge where the game even felt boring, which makes me think whether I would like to do yet another campaign run in Diablo 4. We'll see about that. Maybe if I choose a character that's not that strong as the Necromancer, it will be just a bit more fun. I've even got to a point where I had 500,000 gold in my inventory and 340 obols, and I was able to buy anything. So I could upgrade my weapon, my gear, my armor, but I didn't have the need because I was so strong and my skeletons and everything, just spending the money was not necessary. Just before the end of the campaign, I watched Sliver of Time's video about buying unlimited legendary
To get
items.
legendaries from a vendor for your alt. Yes, you've heard it correctly. We've reached the point where you can get legendary items without fighting any mob just by spending some materials and some gold.
And I decided to give it a try, so I went to the alchemist and checked the price. Unfortunately, it was way too costly. I had like 600,000 gold, and the cash, the legendary grand cash, was almost a million. Just as with the rogue run that I already mentioned, I had started using obols a lot, and I had plenty of obols. The most interesting thing about this vendors only run is that almost every piece of gear that I buy from the vendors that I gambled for was decent and was better than the one I had previously used. I would conclude
Seems your
that
prayers have
while the
been answered.
vendors sell weaker items compared to what drops and what could be found just playing the game, having gear that is improved with each level, just as the rest of the game, was helpful. And I would say that Soul Self-Found is Diablo 4 isn't as hard and as challenging as I had hoped and as I like. And as I've mentioned, the most interesting part and the most challenging part came at at the very end when I was entering Hell. Then the area was level 45 and I was only level 43. So being a couple of levels below the level area boosted the game experience. I really enjoyed those fights. I had concerns about my safety. I had to run away from monsters from their attacks, and that made final part, the Hell Act, enjoyable, challenging, and interesting. I really wish that Diablo 4 will get the opportunity to further improve the difficulty while playing the campaign from the very beginning. So I can do World Tier 3, World Tier 4 runs starting from level 1 and from the very first quest, and not needing to go through different dungeons that unlock those difficulties. And let's very quickly take a look at my final character. So I've spent just around 10 hours to complete this Soul Self-Found vendors only run. So this is my weapon, Accelerating Serpent's Bite. The boots are imprinted and they just give me a reduction of my cooldowns, rare pants, gloves that give me additional damage when I use Sever, so I can cast Blight as well, the armor with more defense, the helm grants me more skeletal warriors and skeletal mages, which further improved the strength of my character. I got this aspect at the very end. I was in the Hell Act, so it wasn't that beneficial for this run and did not change much. My amulet resists movement speed, some damage. Again, the ring with a little intelligence, life cost reduction and more resists, and a shield for some more armor and additional life and critical strike. The skills that I used were mostly the skeletons, the golem, the army of the dead, and the reap and sever that I already mentioned. The rest of the points I put in the passives, which was good enough to beat the game with the Necromancer. And this is how I beat Diablo 4's campaign using only gear from the vendors as a Necromancer in Season 4. Let me know in the comments if you have enjoyed this video. I'm still trying to make my mind if I like playing the campaign in Diablo 4 as I had previously done with Diablo 2, where I really enjoy going back and back and back and playing the game as different character, trying different skills and whatnot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!